I wonder what's coming next. Hey, Loopman. Oh man, guess he's gone. I'm back. How the hell did you do that?
It all goes through the portals of the mind with a little mixture of sorcery. The next challenge, you ask? Well, there's only one person to ask and only one way to find out.
How's that?
Look into the eyes of the one who sees it all. And you shall clearly see the challenge that awaits for you.
Oh no.
Nothing will ever change when the formula to make a frustrating game is concocted. As long as the recipe of frustration is there, the game will always remain the same.
Now back in April, we were given another Fast and Furious movie, and I haven't seen any movies since the year 2013, so apparently that puts me behind. I have never played, nor have I ever heard of the Fast and Furious video game until this one. Now, could this be the one that I was waiting for all this time? Because I always thought it was a pretty cool movie, so inevitably it has to be a good video game. Or is this for the better or for the worse?
This game right off the bat reminds me of Need for Speed The Run. The controls are just about the same. You accelerate and brake with the left analog and the right trigger, and then you're going to be going through an urban environment while driving over 100 miles per hour. I think that Need for Speed's opening presentation was a little bit better, but I'm pretty sure Universal Studios gaming department played that game and knew that if only any Fast and Furious video game were to be released, then it has to emulate the success of Need for Speed. Man, it's like no laws of motion and physics apply in this reality. I really just don't know about this game. And then I swear to God, like on these missions, it makes no fucking sense. Like, look at this shit right here. Like on this mission right here, you're supposed to jump on this bus or whatever, and then you're supposed to, I mean not this bus, but this tanker, and then you're supposed to get inside the passenger seat and then take over. But in the meantime, you're supposed to disable these bombs while you're doing all this stuff. And you can also change from the perspective of the guy that's driving, which was like the character Ludacris played, or this guy, and then you can just sit here and jump inside. You have to wait to jump inside this thing, but I don't really know what's going on. You just keep sitting here forever, and it's telling me that I'm supposed to disable a bomb, but I can't really move or do anything. It's like the game is deciding that it doesn't even really want to deal with this anymore, so I guess I just have to end the game and end this part of the review. But I just really don't know about this game. I mean, it's one thing to create a cheap version of Need for Speed, but let this action of driving dictate the level of greatness in comparison to other great racing games you played in your past.
I think I want to take it back today. I'm not really sure how many people felt about Ecco the Dolphin. It was one of the most frustrating games I've ever played. I mean, you were going through the ocean, you were trying to solve clues, you know, you barely had a way to defend yourself, and then it seemed like you had to do a lot of stuff under a certain limit of time. Now, they also had a sequel called The Tides of Time, Ecco the Dolphin, The Tides of Time, and you practically were doing the same thing you were doing before in the previous game, and it was just as confusing. Now, they had another game on the Dreamcast and the PlayStation 2 called Ecco the Dolphin, The Defender of the Future. And I'm not gonna lie, when I was younger, I really hated games where you had to go through a vast atmosphere, solving clues. I loved them, but I also hated them when they weren't really explained as well. Like games like Castlevania and games like, let's say, I even swore to Showdown on the Genesis. I mean, even games like that, they're a little confusing trying to figure out where to go and solving clues, but it at least has a certain track that you can follow to figure out where to go. But in games like this, you have absolutely no idea. And I'm not gonna lie, when I was a lot younger, I really hated games like this, but since it's 40 plus some game reviews later, and I've grown a little bit wiser with these type of games, I think I want to try this one out.
Now, the storyline to Ecco the Dolphin this time has a lot to do with different theories that many ancient cultures believe created the universe. that's why there was that, that time continuum thing that I thought predicted 2012 back in 2010, and everything just suddenly became a new reality. But instead, you're in the 30th century, and Echo is a student of all the school of dolphins that's seeking to restore the guardian crystal that restores Atlantis. This game, of course, is one of the best looking games that's out there, especially since Ecco the Dolphin, the first one, and then the Tides of Time. I mean, this game really took advantage of the 3D technology, especially since this was the time it was really popular in the early 2000s and late 90s. It's just the same as before, where you're supposed to find clues and then discover other animals, but this time it's a little bit more self-explanatory and then a little bit more game-explanatory, and then these animals actually help you progress throughout the game. I like this one much better than the previous one, since you don't really have to wander around as much and find random allies and stuff. This time you're given a little bit more concise detail as exactly what you're supposed to do. There's also a sense of stage progression in this game too, which was something that was missing in the previous titles. I think that was one of my main issues with that. After you save a whale from a rock, or you poke a shark to death with Echo's beat, you get to save the game and then move on to the next stage. And this is kind of what I wanted in the first Ecco the Dolphin and in the Tides of Time, but it was missing. You had the stages, but it wasn't really self-explanatory like that. And in this one, they seem to have got it right. When you need to reach certain parts of the level, you have to shift through these underwater wormholes, and then you have to find, and then you also have to track exactly where you left, because it can get very confusing and almost downright annoying, because you have these damn sharks you have to deal with, and then they'll be waiting for you even if you've accidentally swam back to the same location that you were just trying to escape from. But overall, I can't really tarnish this game too much. Sure, you'll have those annoying parables and stuff you have to read and solve clues to whatever they are, and yeah, there are a lot of confusing puzzles that really don't really have too much sense involved in them, really don't really have too much comprehension. But I think I've fallen in love with these kind of games, so I'll leave this one alone.
Alright, dodge that one.
Not so fast. Your history with fighting force isn't quite over yet.
I don't even have that game anymore.
Oh, but the sequel, you do.
Looks like it's back.
I'll be the first to admit how much I hate this game. Many of my friends told me how much they loved Fighting Force when they were growing up, and it was like the staple of greatness compared to Streets of Rage, but it just wasn't the same to me. The controls are just fucking cryptic. It's like in this game, this time you're just Hawk. You're not Crusher or Alana, you're just Hawk. And then you're supposed to take down this neo-terrorist world organization that's releasing some kind of chemical weapon that's capable of destroying the planet. Now, this time, this guy's combos, I will admit, are very improved. But it's still no stability with how he performs each combo. He still always seems to miss his target. It's not like you're standing directly in front of them. It's like you still are kind of shifted at a certain 90-degree angle. And the guns on here are like the biggest factor now, because you can switch it between them, and you can even use a pistol and a semi-automatic weapon. And you can even switch in between them while using a combo, which is pretty damn cool. But, it's not like you're going to enjoy it. But at least you have grenades and you have different assortments of weapons this time. This time, the enemies aren't given names, thank God. And you can still view their health bar. They could carry guns and grenades and stuff, but you could disarm them and you could collect ammo after defeating them as well. And this allows you to proceed to certain areas to proceed to the next level. However, the levels are long and it's not easy getting through all of this with just limited health. you still have that 3 continues bullshit, and you can't even get extra lives later on. But you have to know exactly where you're going and what you're doing if you hope to be successful. Cause if you made one false slip on a ladder, or if you made one accidental button maneuver, that'll allow the enemy to get control of you, and then next thing you know, a third of your health will be gone, and then you'll have to run into a room where you can find some health, because other than that, you'll be dead. And it's still hard to navigate through all of this shit as well. I didn't elaborate on much of the jumping, but this is one of the worst games to try to do any kind of jumping and platforming on. Because not only are there enemies lying around, but you barely have enough space to jump between these platforms. And some jumps, he jumps so high that, you know, he could damn near bump his head on the ceiling. Come on, buddy. You've got to. Wow, man, this guy. Oh, man. This is essentially the same as if before. I mean, it doesn't really get any better. So, just don't play Fighting Force 2.
I ain't gonna lie. It took a lot of courage for me to touch that one. I really, really, really hate Fighting Force. But that game is playable, but you wouldn't want to play it. I mean, seriously, you would not want to play it. It's not really worth playing like that. But it's one game that's even further down the catacombs and the abyss of frustrating games. And a lot of people I've seen have requested this before, and I really haven't seen too many people talk about it. But this is one of the most frustrating games that you could possibly play on this fucking planet.